morning. Wow. You are all brave souls, aren't you? And I appreciate that. We, at 6 o'clock Sunday morning, that would be 6 a.m., we activated our emergency management plan. What does that mean to you? Does that mean all directors started working with their teams to start preparing for this storm? If you've been watching this storm, it is formidable. I don't know that anything has hit the peninsula of Florida that hard or is projected that hard. Our planning always works on worst case scenario, not best case scenario. So we're going to go through some things. I'm going to share information. I'm going to try to share because we have a lot of new residents. And the first thing, and if I don't say this enough, by the time the end of, then tell me to say it again. Find who your neighbors are. Get their numbers. Go to the left of you, go to the right of you, and get your neighbor's number. Put it in your cell phone. Make sure they have a cell phone. Check on each other. You know, we know that when we have heavy wind, can we expect trees to go down? Yes. Can we expect to be without power? Yes. Can we expect that we're going to have to relocate some people because of trees? Yes. We know those things and we have prepared those. If we knew exactly where they were going to happen, we'd move those people in advance. But what can help us is if you do this simple thing for me. Just each neighbor, go to the left of you, go to the right of you. Get their name, get their number, and keep informed with them. That's 2 people. That's all. We're only asking you to check on 2 people. And guess what we're asking your neighbor to do? Check on 2 people. That will provide a lot of information for us because if something happens, we know, guess what? There were 2 people checking on you in addition to what we were doing. Fair enough? All right. I'm going to try to be as straightforward. This storm scares me. This storm of all the storms, this one scares me. If you didn't know, and if you were kind of wondering, we are what we refer to as a shelter-in-place community. We're smack dab in the middle of the state. We're not the state. We're not on the East Coast. We're not on the West Coast. So we always have gone by the premises that we're going to get the lowest possible effects of a storm comparatively to the coast. And if we have to locate, where are we going to locate 800 plus residents? And right now, after Hurricane Helene, I'm not sure there's a safe place. And that's the problem, because what are we going to do? Go to Georgia, Tennessee, Alabama, something like that? So we shelter in place unless you're instructed by. So again, it's important that you have your neighbors. If you haven't already done this, you haven't already been contacted, please contact a resident nurse if you have health concerns. We have limited space. We do it on a first come, first serve. We try to triage people. We try to make sure that the people that need the services the most get them. And so we ask them to come to the main building. You should have already had your medication. You should have already had most of your medication filled from Hurricane Helene, right? If you didn't, you have until, I believe it's 4 o'clock today to get your medications. Get your scripts there. They'll get them filled for you and they'll deliver them tomorrow. And again, check on your neighbors. Check on your neighbors. All right, did I say it enough? This isn't a State Farm commercial. Just remember, you only have 2 people to check on. And that's all we're asking you to do. Communication. We send out communication on Channel 3 and Channel 5. We were going to run the digital copy of this on Channel 5. I think they're going to play it on Channel 3 as much as you need to. Keep a cordless phone. Check on the safety measures, I'm going to go all the way down to the bottom. I found a neat new little app and a website. It's called windy.com. If you don't have it, get it on your phone. You don't have to subscribe. It tells you and gives you all the pertinent information about the hurricane that you need. The other great thing about it is because I know sometimes you get tired of listening to the Weather Channel. They do great work. They keep everybody informed. They try to give you accurate and great information, but sometimes you get tired of hearing it when you're hearing it 96, 72 hours prior to the storm. You kind of get deaf to some things. So windy.com, it's an app for your phone. It's a website. I subscribe for $19 a year, and it's already paid for itself. We're going to be subscribed to text alerts. Keep car charges handy. You should all have like maybe extra battery for your cell phone. If you don't, make sure your cell phone is charged up. Don't use your cell phone to make calls. Don't call your neighbor and check on them. Text them. You start getting on the phone, you start eating up the charge of your phone, so we're going to ask you just text and only use it for that. And again, have a plan to get weather alerts and weather forecasts. There is the Weather Channel. There is NOAA, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Association. Administration. There is windy.com. There's a Weather Channel. Why we continue to have TV service. But windy.com, you can put it on your cell phone. It's pretty neat. Update your family and friends. We will push updates out to our Facebook page. We'll push updates out to our website. So if you have family that is wondering, hey, what's going on with mom? What's going on with dad? What's going on? We will push out updates to our Facebook page, and we'll push out updates to our website for them. Again, cell phones, I can't say this enough, cell phones fully charged. And I'm going to ask you to do this for me. Figure out where you're going to be during the storm. Tell us where you're going to be if you're not going to be at home, and stay there. Don't, hey, I'm going to go stay with my neighbor because my neighbor's by themselves, and then all of a sudden we're wondering because we're not getting any trigger alerts that you're actually in your home. Please, please, please. If you're going to stay with a neighbor, if you're going to be off campus, let us know. If you're going to stay with a neighbor, let us know. If you're not, we're going to presume you're staying in your home. Is that fair enough? So please let us know, and let us know that today if that's changing. There's a lot of things and a lot of preparations going on, even on the last day. Why we are pretty, I'm going to say we're probably 80% prepared. 80%, 20% is be completed, so we're 100% by the end of the day. Items to have on hand: flashlights, portable radio, towels, washcloths, toiletries for an overnight bag, 2 or 3 days, 2 or 3 changes of clothing should you need that, a supply of medication. Don't forget your pets. Don't forget your pets. Your pet's on medication, make sure you have their medication, make sure you have a carrier for them, you have leashes available right there. Should you need it, cash. As long as you're on campus, we don't see why you need cash, but we have cash on hand in case we run into a problem. And most important, should we need to get into your unit, leave a clear path for us to get in. If we need to get you out, to get you out. Fair enough? I know I asked that question a lot. Fair enough? Maybe I need to come up with a new question. Please leave a clear path. Hurricane, you can monitor Channel 3 and Channel 5. We're down to crunch time. You all should have everything you have outside. You should have that brought in now. Stay in your cottage or apartment and stay calm. Stay calm. If there's a need to evacuate, you'll be notified and we will assist you. Let us know where you are and stay there. Maintenance and grounds will make rounds throughout the community. And we're going to get to the part about strobes. Everybody should have one. Stay calm. Use cell phones for emergencies only. And keep an evacuation kit. And from previous storms, the one thing that we learned, if you have water bottles, freeze them. Stick them in your freezer, freeze them, and then if you need to, it helps keep your refrigerator. It will keep your refrigerator cold should we lose power. And I would expect to lose power. Duke knows. Duke Energy knows we expect to lose power. And Duke Energy also knows we expect to be the first one that is brought back due to our healthcare services. During the hurricane, secure your home. Avoid using your phone except in serious situations. Ensure a supply of water for cleaning purposes and flushing toilets. Stay indoors, away from windows and glass. Close all interior doors and secure external doors. Keep the curtains and blinds closed. Don't go up to the curtains or windows, pick the blinds, and just have this I have to peek out, I have to see what's going on. And definitely don't open your door. And always, from a hurricane, one of the results of a hurricane can be tornadoes. Those, and sometimes in situations, can be far more dangerous than a hurricane. And we expect that, to prepare for that. That's why you close your curtains, draperies, your blinds, stay away from there, close your doors, and you go to the internal rooms of the house. Don't use candles. Why do we ask you not to use candles? Fire hazard. Just put it this way, no open flame. Don't use your generator too close to an open space. Your generator should be off in the back. There are some people that have generators. Don't bring them close to the house. We've had issues before where neighbors have complained that somebody put their generator too close to theirs and it was keeping them awake at night. Again, freeze bottles, keep your refrigerator closed, and strobe lights. You all should have a strobe light. It doesn't make any difference whether you're in an apartment, a cottage, or a villa. Every single one of you should have a strobe light. Parking. We are going to ask that people that if you're in cottages, we're going to give you the opportunity to park elsewhere. We will tell you, please, we're staging some spaces, so we're going to ask you to park where we ask you to park. We normally park at the north end of John Knox, just outside the gate on our property by the garden. We will be starting that, I believe, this afternoon, somewhere around 1 o'clock. So if you live in a cottage, you have trees, which is all of you, please strongly consider moving your car up there. We will give you transportation back to your home. Pull your golf cart close up to your cottage. And do not park, and we're going to ask you, don't park in parking lots because you're going to say, hey, I don't see anybody using this. You're going to park in a parking lot. Right now, we are clearing out the clubhouse, and we're going to be asking people not to park certain places by the clubhouse because should we need to evacuate people to a certain area, we'll be using the clubhouse in which to do that. Why are we going to do that? Well, we have decided, I know I'm kind of getting a little bit ahead of myself, we are offering shelter in place for our employees. We'll be converting the Barker Center for a shelter for our employees and their immediate families. Our families are at risk. We have 800 residents on campus that we need to take care of. We need to have staff available to be able to do that. And we offer that to our employees and their families to keep them safe. So we will be staging the Barker Center, is why we're closing the Barker Center after today, and staff will be in here on Wednesday and Thursday. Flooding concerns. I've never seen so many sandbags. We have sandbags. We've staged those areas. If the sandbags aren't in place, they've staged those areas to put them in place very, very quickly. If you see sandbags around, don't take them. Ask. Send a request in. Say, hey, I feel better if I just had a couple of sandbags. or I had some sandbags, and we'd be happy to accommodate you if we certainly can. But that too is for the areas that are most prone to flooding. Dining hours. Watch for updates. I'm looking back at Stan. We decided we're closing dining today at 4. 4, yeah. We're closing dining today at 4. So it's kind of a little bit of a running joke among our leadership. Get your breakfast, get your lunch, and get home and get safe. Or your cell phone. Please get your breakfast, get your lunch, and get home and get safe. Because we know that the impact of the storm is going to be either early this evening through overnight. Tomorrow. Oh, sorry. Thanks. I'm a day ahead. It's tomorrow at 4, so I'll change that. Wednesday at 4 o'clock dining. So again, get your breakfast, get your lunch. Thanks for that. I appreciate that. Well, I'm glad you second guessed it because as I'm a day ahead. If power goes out, Bay dining room in the Scoop will be closed. We'll be serving out of the grill and out of cranes. And if we need to consolidate that more, we would close the grill and consolidate and serve out of cranes. But we will let you know that. We will let you know that. If weather conditions kick up and you cannot make it to a dining, say wind starts getting heavier tomorrow afternoon, don't drive to the dining venues. Definitely, I'm going to say, don't consider Thursday breakfast. If you'd like to do breakfast, don't look at Thursday breakfast because there's going to be a lot of things to do. And just to let you know, we have ordered all the extra supplies that we need to order. We have ordered food. We have ordered supplies for Majestic Oaks, for Oakview Suites, for healthcare areas. We have cots, a limited number of cots for people that are coming to shelter in place that have medical needs. If you have guests, we do not have cots for guests. I apologize, but we just don't. So if you have a bed, great. If you don't, they're going to be sleeping on a sofa or maybe on the floor. Barker Center, we talked about that already. We're going to shelter in place for our employees and their immediate family. If additional shelter for residents is needed, we'll make arrangements in the Commons building or even the clubhouse. We have spots in the Commons that are run under the generator, but the apartments in the apartment buildings in Citrus, Audubon, and Bay do not have generator power. Oakview Suites does, and there are spots that we have, so if power does go out and you need to charge your phone and it's safe to do so, you're welcome to do that. Emergency contact, 775-3840, extension 0. It will run to administration. We will have an operator on duty 24/7. So if it's 2 o'clock in the morning, as long as we're able to do so, we will have somebody. Let us know if you have a problem and we will get somebody out when it is safe to do so, if and when it is safe to do so. We're going to ask again for family. I know family is going to want to call you, is going to want to check on you, make sure that you're okay. Ask them to text you, and they're welcome to call us or Facebook or our website. Water supply. I know this is a concern of yours. Our wells, we have our own wells. We have our own water plant. You've probably seen it, the big blue tanks that sit at it is the east side of the property, as you get northeast side of the property, west side of the property, northwest side of the property. We have wells and we have backup generators to do that. We have and we treat our own water. So there are many spots where we would still have water available even if Orange City shuts it down. Not everywhere, but many places. We also have an emergency backup that we receive water from Orange City. We have vendor agreements for emergency water as we needed it. If you try to go to the store right now and get water, it's not good. So if you need water, I would probably find empty bottles, empty containers, and I would put water in those containers. If we receive a boil order, we will notify you, we'll send it out. Again, this is what all the Village Alert line is for. When you receive those little notifications, please don't opt out of those, because if you've opt out, we don't know that you've opted out, and we might send an emergency boil order out there to you, and you don't get it. Now, it's not the only way we're going to try to convey that to you. If it's safe to do so, we will send people out with flyers. We will mail things. We'll put stuff on your door. We have a number of different ways to get information to you. After the storm, if you evacuate, only return home when it's safe to do so. I know, and if you're in an area where it's got heavy water, don't walk through the water if you can avoid it. You don't know what this storm has dredged up. If there's cleanup around your yard, should you do it? It's a trick question. No, don't. No. We'll take care of it. And the biggest obstacles get the attention the first, and then as we go through, we will get to your yard. And I know if you're anything like me, that makes you absolutely crazy. But I'm going to tell you not to do it. We will have somebody come around and clean up your yard. We don't want you in the yard. We don't want you slipping and falling. We don't want you getting exhausted. We don't want you getting yourself all tired out, and then you just have heat exhaustion, because guess what's going to be behind this? We will do the cleanup. We're going to ask that you not. And again, if I haven't told you this, check on your neighbors. Now, where do we get our plans? On an annual basis, we're required to take our emergency weather plan, in fact, our entire emergency plan, and submit it to the state and county government for approval. They approve our plan. They review it every single year. We have to do it for home health. We have to do it for Oakview Suites, Majestic Oaks. They have to approve our plan every year. We approve our plan. Every year we review our plan and we update it. So if you had that feeling we're flying by the seat of our pants, we're certainly not. We learn from each thing. In fact, from the last hurricane, one of you was kind enough to send me an update and made a great suggestion. One of those is hey, can you go ahead and have your plan, run that as a script or run it on the TV? I think that's a great idea. So because there's a lot of you that put it on Channel 3 and just run Channel 3 with the music in the background, and you read the slides, or you look at the slides, or you can go to our resident portal, and you can get this presentation off of there after I update the dining hours, right? We have contracts in place for all types of emergencies. We do have additional resources available at our disposal should we need them. Grounds and maintenance have been working really hard trying to get everything in place. You probably have seen them staging equipment this morning, some lifts to be able to get trees and to address other areas. Our job is to return the community back to normal operations as quickly as we possibly can. Healthcare, if you have an issue, you have a medical condition that you're concerned about, you have a CPAP, you have medication that you need monitoring, you should have already called the resident nurse. If you haven't, you still have today. And since I'm a day ahead of myself, but please, if you have oxygen, you need oxygen, if you're anything of that sort, please make sure. And if you want to get respite, we have in assisted living, we have space available for people who wish to do that. That is based upon medical need. We talked about that. Medications. We are sending people home. Today is Tuesday. Yes. We are letting staff that are not sheltering in place. They will be gone at noon tomorrow, so they have plenty of time to get home. We may let some people go home a little early today so they can finish. People who are going to be sheltering in place, so they can finish preparations on their home, so they can be here. But we will have a full complement of personnel here during the storm to be able to take care of you. I want to share a little story. When the storm has passed, or it seems like it has calmed down, don't go out for a walk. True story, and there is a current resident here that was with me when we did this. A couple of storms ago, a number of years ago, we were going back and we were surveying damage. We were standing there and just kind of looking at things, and a resident with earbuds is walking by. All of a sudden, we could hear the cracking of tree roots. And we watched a big water oak fall right in front of us, right to the right side of the resident that was walking with earbuds. Now, talk about dodging a bullet, or a tree in this case. Please do not go out. Just taking a walk. We have water oaks, and as much as I'd like to snap my fingers and be rid of all of them, it doesn't happen that way. We do expect trees to go down. We don't expect you to purposely put yourself in harm's way knowing you shouldn't be walking immediately after the storm. We've had rain. The ground is soaked. We're going to get more rain, and we're going to get strong wind. The weak trees are going to fall. Questions? Now, I purposely made this short and sweet so this can be run over a number of times and you can look at it and you can peruse it. The one thing I want to make sure I leave you with is, I love it. Check on your neighbors. Check on your neighbors. Yes, ma'am.
Joe, Taste of Celebration is scheduled tonight. Is it still going ahead?
Yes, Taste of Celebration this evening is still going ahead.
Thank you.
See, that's a problem with me being a day ahead of myself. I would have said no originally, so I'm glad I...
Is there a time when there will be no food venues open?
Will there be a time when...
There's no food venues open.
After 4 o'clock tomorrow, until Thursday, at least Thursday morning, there will be no food venues open. Now, I know what you're thinking. It's like, well, Joe, you got how many families and how many employees are going to be sheltering in place? Don't worry about it. Stan and his team take care of them. We feed them. We need them to make sure they keep their strength up to be able to do what we need them to do. So, but there will be no official food venues open. Great question.
Okay. Joe,
Yes, ma'am.
are there any sandbags around the apartment's first floor by the screen walls?
I don't believe so, but I will check. I don't think Mark has identified the screen doors as an area, but we will certainly check. Joy? Got it? Yes, ma'am.
Right behind.
Excellent presentation, Joe. Thank you. I was just wondering about gasoline and whether anyone had any sense as to the local gas stations. Is it a good time this morning to gas up, or is everything crazy?
Well, I'm going to confirm. I was told by my neighbors came through as I was walking my dogs last night and said they had been to 7 places and nobody had gas anywhere. And it is If you're trying to get gas right now, just hope you have enough gas in your car to get it up to the front of the property to park it. And if you need something, obviously we will take you if I can, if the weather permitting. But my guess right now is you're not going to find gas. I fueled up on Saturday.
Thank you, that's helpful to know.
Yes.
I have two questions. One, did I understand you to say if you use a CPAP machine, you need to contact the nurse?
If you use a CPAP and you're concerned on the power of yours, we want you to contact the resident nurse, extension 1407.
And you wouldn't do that until the power goes off?
I'm sorry?
You wouldn't do that until the power goes off, or you would go ahead now and call?
I would call Stephanie now.
Okay. And number two, you mentioned something about water was available in certain places.
Yeah.
How do you go about getting water if you need it?
All right. If you need water, now some of you may have gone to the store, some of you went and got gas and found out no, got shut down. Some of you may decide, hey, I want bottled water and I cannot get it. We will have water for you where we certainly can. So if you need that, if you need water for your home and you currently don't have bottled water, I would get containers, I would fill them up now, and I would stick them in my refrigerator. Okay? Now, please don't go out and try to go to Publix and buy a bunch of food. We will make sure you're taken care of. If you're hungry, we're going to get you fed. But as far as water, as far as should the power go out and your toilet won't flush, you may want to consider having some of that. But if you have issues like that, let us know, and we'll be happy to care. Remember, what happens to one of us is going to happen to a number of us. It's just not going to be one person.
Can I add something to communications? When the village alert line goes out, make sure to say hi, because the system is looking for your voice. So if you've ever had that situation where you've answered the phone but you haven't said hi or hello, and it just repeats itself, it's looking for a human being or your answering machine so that it will start the recording. So make sure to tell Val hi. The second thing is text messaging. Most likely, I will only use text messaging sparingly. So tornado warnings, cyclones, boil water notices, things of extreme importance will go out via text message. If I notice that we have a slowness to the voice messaging system, then I'll start using text messaging more. But everything will always be posted to the portal, to the website with links off of Facebook. Channel 5 will be where slides will be with important information. And then Channel 3, which is your current programming, your television, and other slides. Candace is going to pause all communication that is not hurricane related today. We'll probably still play exercise videos, but we will also repeat this presentation. So Channel 5 will always be hurricane slides with the exception of Happy Birthday from Hurricane Milton. And then Channel 3 will be this presentation and probably some other videos playing just to keep you entertained.
Okay?
I'm asking you, is it going to be on YouTube? Because we don't have Centrix, we don't have 3 and 5.
So the presentation will be on John Knox Village's YouTube channel, and then we're also going to post the video to the resident portal so that you can watch the video through the portal.
Okay? Now, that's our communication plan for you. What do we want your communication plan to be? 2 neighbors. Left, right. Pretty easy. That will help immensely. Because you know what? One of the first things is that somebody all of a sudden starts hearing that wind start blowing. And staying calm is just not in their vocabulary. And knowing that there is somebody that that is going to respond to them quickly sometimes is incredibly helpful. So please, if you can do that, it's a great help. And you can call the main receptionist, 386-775-3840, dial 0. It's not going to the gatehouse. It's coming to the administrative offices, and we run everything out of the administrative office. So if you need help, who you are, where you're at, and what you need, and if we can, and it's safe to do so, we will get somebody to you as quickly as we possibly can. Now, strobes. I may have accidentally deleted that slide. I didn't see it. Maybe I skipped over it. I want to go over that. Your strobe goes on the outside of your front door handle. You turn it on, put it on your handle, and we send somebody around. If you want, stick it in the window, the biggest window of your unit facing the street, and because we will have patrol going around. If we see that, then we know that's an emergency. After the loss of power, your pull cord in your unit only works for somewhere between 2 and 4 hours. So, as long as you're able, turn that strobe on, put it in the front window, put it on the doorknob if you want, and when we send patrol around, we will make sure that we respond at that particular time. We're dividing into different teams so we can cycle through a little bit quicker. So if you do that, so your strobe doesn't make any difference whether you're an apartment, cottage, or villa. Put your strobe in your front door on the outside facing the street, front window facing the street, turn it on, and we will get to you. Very good? Yes, ma'am. What about visiting people at MO? People at MO are going to have enough visitors. So after probably 4 or 5 o'clock tomorrow, we're going to ask that just sit tight, because Majestic Oaks is also a shelter for their employees. They have extra employees on staff that will be sheltering in the building to be able to check on residents. And those employees, they'll have administrative staff on, they'll have direct caregivers on staff, and they will be running that 24/7 with us to make sure that they're addressing the needs. Power. Both Oakview Suites and Majestic Oaks have generators that will run the building, run the electrical needs at 100%. So they've been generated. So we don't have to locate people in the hallways. We don't have to we don't have to try to keep them in a small area. They stay in their rooms. Both those healthcare settings have generators to run their electrical needs at 100%. So you don't have to, please don't worry about that. That was something that we did a number of years ago, and all the fuel is topped out for all the generators. We have 1,000 gallons. We actually have 2 1,000 tank diesel, where we filled one because we think we'll have enough to run generator power. Now, generator power at Majestic Oaks, off of what they currently have, will run just at about 7 days. So please, if you have a loved one in healthcare, we've got it. We're going to take care of them. If you want to visit, please do so before 4 or 5 o'clock tomorrow, and then we're going to shut down visiting hours to make sure that everybody is safe. Great question. Any other questions? So let me leave you with this one thought. Be a good neighbor. Check on your neighbors. Take care.